Okay. Check, check. Oh, all right. So, let's see. Okay. Stop. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. So YouTube considers a viewer, it appears to be not only should the YouTube be on a tab, but the tab should be the tab in view. So it shouldn't be in the background. It's nice learning things. Oh, user 116324842978 We're on to talk. Hope you're doing well. I'm about to get started. This is going to be Computer Science Live. I got a project that I've been wanting to do since my last semester of grad school, and I felt that that could be a good way for me to get some of the rust that I've been having since I haven't done any coding since graduating from grad school. Just been working on some prep things. All right. Cool. I think I'm ready to get started going over things for this project. So just double check. Morticia, I'm sure 31, which I had joined, but I think they left by now. Totally not a problem. I understand. Okay, here we go. Let's get going. So, I'm trying to incorporate Michael was saying to try to curb some of the dehydration that I'm experiencing, because it's kind of dehydration where it doesn't seem matter how much water I drink, I'm still like, and I feel like you mentioned this before in the past about the salt, and then later I looked at it, and yeah, there is such a thing as not having enough salt in your diet, which would definitely impact your ability to maintain the kind of water balance you need to be able to maintain to for your body to function well. So today I was like, all right, let me try and basically follow the advice that Michael had during, I think 2 nights ago stream. So I used my little, hold on, let me go get it. A few months ago, I was using this with some liquid medicine, but I think the liquid medicine's too old and was making me sick, so that was a perplexing time. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of feeling sick, so I'm trying to feel less sick, so I'm taking medicine, but uh-oh, I think I've actually been poisoning myself. Either way, this has been very helpful to use just for my regular pills, especially since I start adding in the supplements, the glucosamine chondroitin and MSM. So those are 2 pills for that. Then there's the 1 pill for the daily vitamin, and then there's my regular pills that I need to take. So since I like to take all that stuff in the nighttime, I usually just put them all in here. That's the thing I've been getting used to anyway. Today, however, to try to curb the dehydration symptoms that I've been feeling, in an effort to follow Michael's advice as best I can, I pretty much filled up the bottom of this with some salt, filled out the remaining amount with water up to the 30 milliliter line. Then I put that into a cup. Then I went ahead and I got some of the lime juice, which I'm going to have to add to my must get more list. And I filled that up to, I think, the 15 milliliter line. And then I filled the rest of the cup with water. So I've been making my way sip by sip through that. And it does seem like it is actually helping quench at least the dry mouth sensations that I was having. Because again, it's not a matter of I didn't drink enough water, because I did drink 32 ounces of water and still was feeling very, very thirsty. So apparently, I don't get enough salt, which makes sense because I am in the habit of not getting salt on days that I'm not having fast food. And usually, fast food is the thing that happens late in the day. Okay, let's get started on the main. Um, Let me get another sip of that, and then we'll get started on the main bulk of this, which is as tiled computer sciencing. I'm very excited. So the last few computer sciencing lives, I've been working on the how. So I got the virtual box set up. I've got the Linux put on there. I probably do have to do some updates to everything, but I haven't really been working on the what part of things. So at least to start, I want to go ahead and work on the what part of things. It's a bit cloudy, but all in all, one of the reasons I opted in for lime juice is I am a fan of margaritas, even though I don't really drink them anymore. And even before that, I used to have, well, I still have a friend, but we used to have more in person time back in the day. And one time we were enjoying a nice meal at her parents' place, and they were very much into the traditional Mexican food. And so that was when I learned that, oh, if you take a tortilla and you put a little salt, a little lime juice on there, oof, that's some wonderfulness. So I'm like, okay, let me just try to stick with the lime juice. And then one of the schools that I've been working at, they have this really cool water machine, and you can add in flavors, and you can add electrolytes, or if you need like some vitamin boost. And one of the options they had there was lime. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just go ahead. Since I'm doing salt anyway, let me just throw some lime in there. And so far, I'm not mad about that. No. Okay. So let's see. I have the papers. I don't have time to figure out what I did with the file. I looked for it. So part of the reason I didn't get a chance to do this back then was I got voted out. It was a group where I was one of three members, and I got voted out. And we ended up doing a different thing, and that ended up being a whole other thing. But the focus of the matter is now I have the opportunity to work on this independently. Okay, so let me switch over some things so we can have a nice little look. But before that, let me check in on TikTok. Anybody at TikTok? Oh, hello, Hammy's mom with a hamster in her heart over on TikTok. And hello, G.I. Lynn. Okay, let's go ahead. I am using stream elements on my OBS. I am doing a multi-stream. Let me do something with these glasses. I'll be back in a bit. To my YouTube and my TikTok and my Twitch. Twitch is a hit or miss thing, I find, so I don't really expect anyone to be over there. But yep, just me, myself, and I. Sounds good. All right then. No worries. Oh, there has been a change up. All right then. Cindy Cinnabuns. Hello. On TikTok. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna go clean my glasses. There's some level of dust and smudging that is definitely getting to me. So go do that and BRB, and then we'll get started talking about the project that I'm going to be working on. Well, at least a component of the project, but you gotta start somewhere. All right. Here, I wet them. Here is a Pledge microfiber cloth. I like having that extra real estate to work with. All right. That's much better. Put this back where it can dry nice. All right, let's get chatting. So, I'm going to switch on over. Uh, Very good. Here we go. Let's have a little chat about what it is I'll be working on. At least the first part of that. Anyway, point is, yay. Let's talk about that. Okay. So, I like the other way. Hold on. Let me make a little tweak. All right, here we go. So again, this was something that I would have done had things worked out differently back while I was in my last semester of grad school. So that's what the prompt is for. But hey, I didn't. So I'm not going to worry about anything about this per se, but it's just a nice little snapshot of something that I experienced back when I was still in grad school, in case anyone's interested to know. All right, aside from myself, I already know what I did then. Okay. Does that come up nice? I always gotta wonder when things come up nice or not. Okay, it looks like it's as expected. All right, let's see. I don't know if I can use my flasher, so I'm not gonna pretend like I can. Okay, here we go. Problem set 2, project. All of that stuff was kind of necessary about the due date and have you. Due May 1st, 2024, by 11:59.0, submitting on paper. Available March 4th at 12 a.m., May 1st at 11:59 p.m. This project will constitute 40% of your grade for the second problem SAT. Grade projects get an extra 10% of the score. The project is designed to be manageable in scope, so extensive time investment is not required. The primary objective is to let you play with big data algorithms within an area of application that interests you. Please apply a method discussed in class or others in the textbook. Mining the massive data sets available at http www.mmds.org / to a real world dataset of your choice. You would need to write a report 1 to 3 pages summarizing the chosen method and your findings. Prepare and deliver a presentation 10 to 15 minutes on your project for the class. Some data sets are available at and are listed. You're welcome to use datasets from other sources. Note that you should use datasets that are very reasonably large. Please come up with a project title description within 2 to 3 weeks and put it here. This is mostly for me to keep track of how many projects there are and allocate the time for presentations and make sure that the topics are appropriate. If you don't hear anything from me, you're good to proceed with the proposed project. Okay. I assume all of those links are no longer relevant. But even if they are, I do figure that there should be some form of permissions. So I'm not 100% worried about if someone were to try to follow the link. I think you would end up with a wall. I have reasonable expectations that that wouldn't produce anything helpful to follow those links. Okay. So it's doing great. That's good. Hello, Simeon on TikTok. All right. So here we go now. So this is what I came up with back then. This document is a work on progress and is subject to change. Title: determining frequent sight words and given literary text. Table of contents. Table of contents. Project goals. A through H. Relevant background. Big data algorithm options. Frequent item sets. Finding similar items. Modified Bloom filter similar to PS12B. Sight words. Dolch sight words and Fry sight words. Leveled reading. Potential literary text. Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, The Jungle Book, Great Expectations, Pride and Prejudice, Stop words. Project goals. A. Perform a shingling technique that builds baskets that are composed of at least 300,000 total words from literary texts that are available in public domain. B. Make pairs based on the alphabetical order Dolch sight words and or Fry sight words. Notes. Note, every sight word should be paired with every other sight word exactly once. We are making sets, so order does not matter. C. Run a chosen frequency item set algorithm on the baskets resulting from the case shingling process. Market-based model. A priori, Park, Chen, and U. PCY, or multi-stage algorithm. D. Plot top 5 frequent Dolch sight words and or Fry sight words. E. Plot the running time of the frequent item set algorithm. F. Write analysis of how the top 5 frequent Dolch sight words and or Fry sight words correspond with the reading level of the text. G. If time allows, use a regular PS1P3 or modified Bloom filter, as discussed in PS1P2B, to contain the most frequent items or all sight words according to the type. How to maintain top positioning. If top first increment counted by 6, if top second increment counted by 5, if top third increment counted by 4, if top fourth increment counted by 3, if top fifth increment counted by 2, increment always by 1. H. If time allows, do the same steps with stop words removed. Okay. So, maybe Kelly goals, maybe not. I don't know. Again, the whole point of what this was written for originally is moot because I got voted out. And maybe that was a good thing. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. Either way, the goal I have now is get some coding in. So, whatever I manage to do when creating and coding is yay. All right, next up. Okay, cool. All right. Relevant background, big data algorithm options, frequent item sets. There's link for Stanford and a Geeks to Geeks link. Finding similar items. There's the Stanford link. Well, two of them. Modify bloom filter similar to PS1 2B. 3.2. Shielding of documents. University of Utah. Information from the University of Utah. Sight words. Reading rockets. And Wikipedia. Those sight words. There is a link. The Dose sight words list is the most commonly used set of sight words. Educator Dr. Edward William Dolch developed the list in the 1930s to 40s by studying the most frequently occurring words in children's books of that era. The list contains 220 quote-unquote service words plus 95 high-frequency nouns. These words comprise 80% of the words you would find in a typical children's book, and 50% of the words found in writing for adults. Once a child knows this list of words, it makes reading much easier because the child can then focus his or her attention on the remaining words. The those words are commonly divided into groups by grade level, ranging from pre-kindergarten to third grade, with a separate list of nouns. There are a total of 315 those sight words. All those sight words in alphabetical order, that's that link, and all those sight words by group according to grade level is in that link. Okay, first sight words. That link is available. The Far Sight Words list is a more modern list of words than the Dolch list, and was extended to capture the most common 1,000 words. Dr. Edward Fry developed this expanded list in the 1950s and updated it in 1980 based on the most common words to appear in reading materials used in grades 3 to 9. Learning all 1,000 words in the Fry list would equip a child to read about 90% of the words in a typical book, newspaper, or website. 5 words are listed by the frequency which they occur and often broken down into groups of 100. So the first 105 words are the 100 most frequently occurring words in the English language. Off-right sight words in alphabetical order is listed there, and off-right sight words by group according to highest to lowest frequency is linked there. Mm. So I think it's a timeout. I've been trying to figure out how come YouTube shows things as zero when the people are actually still there. I guess it's just a timer sort of though. They just assume if a person is not engaging with the stream within a certain window of time, that means they're probably not there. That's interesting. Hello, Omar. Goodbye, Omar, over on TikTok. All right, next up. Leveled reading. Scholastic. There are links reading A through Z, links ad source, links Lexi reading level, Scholastic, links Lexile, links potential literary links, Alice in Wonderland. Adventures in Alice in Wonderland, let's go Wikipedia. Information about that, Adobe. That is the Adobe version that's available. GitHub has a version. Well, at least when I wrote this back in 2024. All right, I'm gonna have to figure out what I did with these because it is nice to have those links available. Project Gutenberg, Learner Books, Book Source, two different versions appears. Study.com, Alice Wonderland leveled 4, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Then there's Peter Pan link, the Jungle Book links, Great Expectations links, Pride and Prejudice links, stop words, information about what those are, and a listing, links available, NLP also link. And that's it. We'll leave the rest of it, but let me just make sure. Yep, that's it. So, next step is I should probably find that. But I don't have to do that today. What I need to do is more so, well, let's just say some of those would be kind of helpful for today. Okay. Because the idea being, actually, yeah, some of that would be helpful for today. Get a review of the concepts that were spoken of. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna have to try again to see if I can find the oh, mm, I swear I had everything listed a certain way. I don't know. I got a lot of title things. Well, anyway, it's not like I can't just Google things. Let's just do that for a bit. It doesn't have to be exact. best effort is totally fine. So yeah, it does seem that YouTube algorithm has blockers in place under certain situations. Oh, okay. So interesting. Oh, so it won't be considered concurrent viewer, but it does appear that it still gets counted as a view. That's interesting. I don't think it's just me, but that does explain those times. Okay, so now does the view count go up? Yes. Okay. So there's definitely situations in which a viewer cannot be listed as a concurrent viewer, but still the view gets added to the view count. That's interesting. Okay, well, I think that's a good place. Just a bit of an intro on what the project is. I think that's a good place to put a pin on things. So next time I work on this, um, whether it's going to be later today or tomorrow or just whatever day in the future that things work out for some computer science time, um, we can have a chat about data structures and such. I think the best thing I can do right now is in this stream, because it looks like YouTube put a block on it, soft blocked it. Um, but I could just test out to see if it's a temporary thing. That sounds like an idea. I'll set a timer for 10 minutes and we'll kind of see if the status changes any or if it's still going to keep saying 0 concurrent viewers. Because now I'm just at the point where I don't really trust the 0 to actually be 0, but that YouTube definitely has some way of masking concurrent viewers, classifying who I would consider a concurrent viewer as not being a concurrent viewer. Then again, I am hungry and I could just sit here and eat. That's true. I'm kind of curious. With what's listed as 12 views, and for the last, is that the last 15 minutes or so, it's been saying that I have no concurrent viewers, even though I know that's not quite true. According to YouTube, I've had no concurrent viewers. And I'm curious to know if that changes any. Okay, here's what I'll try for. I'll try for a meal break because I could use one. It's definitely that time again. And then after that, maybe we can continue the conversation. I'm just interested in how much YouTube wants to mess me up today. So whether it's the conversation is in an additional stream, I'm not sure. Maybe, because I feel like this one got wrecked as far as what's going on with YouTube. TikTok, it's not super interesting live, so I understand if people are in and out with TikTok. And with Twitch, it is often hard to get someone to show up on Twitch. So that's not a new phenomenon, but I'm very curious about what's going on with YouTube today. And I think they will soft blocked things. Why? I have some guesses, but I don't know anything definitively. So, yeah. Sounds fun. Or just cut here, eat my dinner, try again. So many options. Whatever the case is, I officially have nothing happening that I can see. And that is super bummer time. So, I think for this peace of mind sake, and since nobody's checking things out on TikTok or Twitch, I could put a pin right here on this live and eat my food, and then depending on how I feel, go from there. Because it seems like concurrent viewers is something that's like it's factored in to the watch hours equation. But hey, while I'm here thinking about it, might as well try to see if I can find some information about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's still down to 0. Mm-hmm. Well, that's still a hard thing to try to figure out. Okay, still set to 0. So definitely something. No one. There is someone here. Yo, there's somebody here. It's not just me right now. That's a plus. Okay, that is a plus. Yay. Howdy. YouTube put a block some kind of way on concurrent viewers. Although they were here. I mean, they were here. But after a while it got no. It got not counted toward concurrent viewers. I'm kind of running a test, but I'm also doing other computer science things. All right, somebody left, but at least I know now. Okay, at least I know it. There is such a thing as getting concurrent viewers, at least now. Okay, that gives me some hope. YouTube be tripping. I swear, YouTube be tripping. YouTube be tripping. All right. Well, I guess we'll just see what's up. Okay, so next is I'm gonna take a bit of a break. Then I'm gonna eat some lunch. We're just gonna roll with it. Um, I feel like I'm just gonna eat half of what I would typically be eating. I don't know if that was a new viewer or if that was a delayed sort of deal, but it still gives me some hope. So I'll keep on with the stream for at least a bit longer before I try to change it out. All right. So what I'm gonna do is get a little break in. Gonna get my lunch together. Gonna come back here to eat. I feel like I would like some more coffee. So I'll prep coffee. And then I think I'll come back and try and do some more. It just happened again. Usually be tripping. Okay. I feel like YouTube be tripping. That's kind of throwing me off. Because I can't trust, at least during this live, I can't trust the concurrent viewers counter. And that is messing me up. I don't like having to be. Okay. So I think the safest bet is to assume that whatever block YouTube did is like a permanent block that affects this particular stream. That if I end the stream and start a new stream, I no longer have to worry about that. That's what I'm gonna have to assume. Because you gotta start somewhere. So let's pretend that's the case. If that's the case, then what I'm gonna do is in the stream here, I'm gonna go eat by myself. Or I could do an eat and chill. I could see doing an eat and chill. That could be fun. And then if I decide to go out and more computer science time today, then more computer science today. Otherwise, gonna have to. No? Hello, concurrent viewer. Goodbye, concurrent viewer. Interesting. Huh. Weird. The thing is, if the concurrent viewer does not stay long enough to trigger a boost on the graph part, I have a feeling that affects in a negative way the watch hours. That's not very helpful considering it's October already. Kind of defeats the purpose of trying to get as close to meeting the rest of the. Oh, like I'm within 500 away from the 3,000 watch hours. But things will start falling off soon in a big way on the 27th. October. Okay. Best bet in this stream here. Do a eat and chill. Just with YouTube. Give that a chance to reset whatever it needs to. And then go from there. That sounds like a plan. All right, so definitely a good place to put a pin on things. Just going over the introduction of what it is I will be working on. We did that, so yay. I'm gonna go ahead and close the stream out. Thank you to Morticia __ 31, Cindy Cinnabuns, G.I. Lynn, and Jelly, all on TikTok. And thank you to anyone who I may have missed. And thank you to anyone who might choose this out in the future. Stranger things have happened. And whenever, wherever, however, whatever, just make the most of it. That's the most important part.